enjoyed them. What we're going to talk about now is doing security gamification for developers. So first of all, who am I? My background is in application security. I was on the offensive side for many years as a hacker, a penetration tester, team leader, etc. Then I was forced or found myself going to the defensive side, helping organizations to defend and using my skills as a hacker to think how to defend the organizations. Currently, I'm the CEO at Ceilings. We help many organizations in securing themselves, and I'm also an external security architect or expert at Playtika. So the gaming matters are something that I really like. And I'm fully passionate about DevSecOps. I think that this is the future of security. And I want to shift left organizations as much as possible. But in order to do that, we need to basically teach gamification and how to involve the gamification. So our agenda will include DevSecOps and gamification. What are the must-haves? What are the approaches in order to succeed with proper gamification engagements in organizations? What are the paid solutions for money? And what is the open source solution that I highly advise you to use and customize for your benefit? By the way, this presentation is already shared with you in the chat notes, so you can use it as a resource, and all the links are clickable. So how do we do DevSecOps currently? The organizations that are currently doing it start with security training. So the security training includes awareness and best practice training. And now, after the training, or sometimes in the same time, we do some security development. We teach developers about threat modeling, we teach architects, and we do code reviews in order to fix the code while we're doing it. And we conduct security testing in the CI or the CD. So we do automated static code analysis, dynamic code analysis, and interactive assessments. And we do lots of penetration tests and bug bounty activities. The organizations love bug bounties. So the goal is shifting left security. How to do that? By automating the hell of CI/CD and by providing the developers and the QAs and the operations the security tools in order to do so, and we need to start building the security know-how. So, what are the must-haves in order to do a proper gamification? First of all, we need to have a purpose. We need to understand the purpose that we're doing that. We need to make it social. We need to get feedback. We need to make it as autonomous as possible, and we need to provide the people that are doing the trainings the mastery of getting the knowledge that they have. So, how to implement it? You're currently an organization that wants to do gamification, wants to do security training for developers. This is the formula. First of all, understand the audience and challenges. Explain the motivation behind the activities. Do a small POC, get feedback, reward, educate, and make it social. So let's do it. Understanding the audience and challenges. So first of all, we need to understand who are the participators of the activity. Are there mobile developers, web developers? Maybe they are DevOps or QA people. Maybe the developers are front, back, or both, full stack. what are their seniority and roles in the organization, and what are our organization habits. Do we like games and gaming, or we are like old organization that wants to get it everything PDFs? So first, we need to understand the culture of the organization. And we also need to understand what are the key problems that we want to solve. I think that the key problem that we want to solve is vulnerabilities in production due to insecure coding. But we also want to avoid the same security vulnerabilities that we expose over and over again in penetration tests, using static tools, etc. And we want to positively impact future development. So this is all great, but how do we achieve high engagement with a non-motivated audience? We need to understand that not all of our audience is motivated. Developers, like, it's something that's a burden for many developers to get another security training. So first of all, we need to explain the motivation. We need to explain the motivation to ourselves, and we need to explain the motivation to other people. So how do we explain motivation best way? We show how hackers operate. We explain the worst case scenario that may happen by exploiting specific vulnerability. We show and provide evidence of past hacks that our organization suffered from a malfunction or a non-secure code that was implemented by developers. And we need to explain the impact to our clients. Once we explain all this to developers before conducting any gamification engagement with a pre-session of 30 to 40 minutes, they will understand, first of all, the way that the hackers think, what are their motivations, and they will have the proper motivation in order to do the engagement. Once we start with the gamification engagement or the game, security game, we need to get feedback. So these are some of the feedbacks that we can get from a platform. First of all, we need to see what was the engagement. We need to understand the content quality and how this content is adopted with the people that are taking the game. Is it social enough, or were we able to reward or empower the community by making it social? Is there a leaderboard? Do we have the ability to manage our teams? Do we have a dashboard? And what are the user experience and visibility of the platform? Okay, we did this engagement. It's time to reward. This is just a sample of the rewards and the badges that we can give to our developers. The novice, the person that undertakes the training, can be called a trainee. Someone that is doing all the trainings is awesome. Okay, we see that he masters and he does all the games and he does everything that he can. But there are people that also start to be champions after a while, after 1 or 2 or 3 engagements. We see that there are people that are really good at security, and we can call them maestro. But there will be also the innovators, which will take the platform a step forward, and we can even use them in order to create additional platforms, or we'll use this gamification platform in order to empower or fix their codes. So again, there are many ideas that come from gamifying security. So what can be incentivating for developers? First of all, competitivity is also always good. how I become better than my teammate at security. I can get badges and accomplishments, so it's also a great motivator. From an innovation standpoint, we can do the same things on our code. So why use some challenges that someone wrote down for us? Why not take our code and make a CTF or a gamified activity on our code? And of course, we can all show it off in our organization's social media. Social media inside organizations and publicizing the achievements and the activity is one of the key factors of success because we are social beasts. Now, with the coronavirus, we see the impact of social media much better because we all understand that all the communication is done via social media, via platforms like WhatsApp, Slack, Facebook, etc. So it will just get higher and bigger. Now, once we understood, we did the POC, we made it happen, we need to scale it up. So how we scale it up? Most likely just by taking leverage of our own code base and using it in order to create challenges. So what are the approaches that we can take? We can use the gamification and do it as a CTF style. CTF, the capture the flag activity, where we have a competition between different teams or between different people in the organization, and they all need to solve specific challenges, and via solving the challenges, they just become better at the security. Something that I really like is the team versus team approach. What is the team versus team approach? We can take different development teams inside our organization and challenge them against each other's code. It's not an easy task when you have a large organization, but small startups up to 30 people, I think that it's a must. Take your dev teams, divide them to teams of 5 or 4, create a cool game and cool atmosphere for this day or 2 days, and just make it happen. And we have the personal work. And this is something that I see as not so proactive because most people will take it as homework, okay? And not something that is really engaging them. Okay, I see myself in a leaderboard, but I don't have a real competition. It's mostly my work against myself. So the two approaches that I really like are the CTF, which is an ongoing engagement, and team versus team engagements. What are the paid platforms? So I will do a fast review about the most popular platforms for gamification, which you can get for money. There are two platforms by the same company, Code Bashing and Game of Hacks. Game of Hacks is a free platform, free-to-use platform for understanding code vulnerabilities, and it supports several languages. Same as Code Bashing, which has support for lots and lots of languages. Everything is clickable, so once you will click on the link, you will get to the appropriate platform. You have CTF 365, which takes teams of developers or teams of hackers and will challenge them against other teams in the world. There is VPN access needed in order to get to this platform. There is HackerEdu, which is a platform that also shows the developers the code and the different mechanisms and takes the hacker approach. It's something that you can use in order to train your developers, but also to train your security teams. And there is the Secure Code Warriors, which is also an engaging platform. It has lots of different language support, and allows to do some challenges against the code, and it's really developer driven. So I think that out of all their great additional platforms that you can get for money, but these are the main platforms. But this is not what we came to talk about. We came to talk about some open source gamification platforms. And since we are as part of a OWASP meetup, so this is OWASP. These are OWASP projects, and one of them is the OWASP Juice Shop, the OWASP Cornucopia, and OWASP Snakes and Ladders. So I'll start with Snakes and Ladders. It's a game that you can take and play with your developer teams. I don't see it happening, but again, it's something that you can use and just drop at the places that the developers stay. Maybe they will play, maybe not, but also it's a cool project by OWASP. The Cornucopia, it's a project that will enable developers to understand threat modeling and how to do a proper threat modeling for their applications when they are developing. So it's a card game, also a great gamification for developers. But the platform that I like most of all from OWASP, and it's a totally volunteer project, is the OWASP Juice Shop. So first of all, how it's done, it's an Angular front end and Node.js backend. It has full customization, so it enables you to create everything that you want and do basically so many modifications from defining the challenges, from managing your team, from switching between different views, etc. It has a fully open source code which you can go and explore and change and contribute. You have the CTF mode, which is already pre-built with challenges that you can also tweak and use for your team and advancement. It has language support with many languages, and it has integration, so you can integrate it with other platforms, like if you've experienced the Facebook CTF platform or CTFD. So it's very easy to get this platform and integrate it with other platforms and use them as scoring engines. So you can take the Juice Shop, integrate it with Facebook CTF platform, and you have in a couple of hours, 1 or 2 hours, you have a fully fledged platform, very engaging for doing security training for developers. I'm assuring you from doing these types of activities many times in the past, this is the only way that the developers really understand security and really get security by training, because frontal trainings, they tend to last up to 2 to 3 months, and that's it. The developer will forget it. And the platforms that most of the platforms that you buy for money will engage, but you'll see that they are engaging for 3 months, 4 months. But what happens with the license that you bought for the whole year? So I think that using this open source by OWASP, it's something great. So is it perfect? No. How it can be done better? You can get involved easily. What should be improved? We should get additional statistics. So if you remember, the feedback feed is very important. So we need to add some feedback into the Juice Shop platform and get more statistics from participants, what they liked, what they didn't like. what were the timing, what were the challenges they felt were the hardest, etc. Translation. So the juice shop is translated only 13% in Hebrew. So there are so many translations that you can do with the platform, and just to make it native for Hebrew speaker developers, although most of us do speak English, but there are many that are not. And add challenges. So you can write down your own challenges. I think that it will be great to support the community. Key takeaways. So there are free open source alternatives for security gamification. Guys, use these free open source alternatives. Don't forget to reward and empower your development. This is the only way that you will be able to succeed with a gamification engagement. You can customize and make these tools better and better fitted for your organization. The better fit and the optimization to your organization is the key factor, and most likely with the open source it will be much easier. And I will augment Ori's saying, join OWASP and support the community using and building the tools, and also becoming a member and donating. These are some credits of all the people that are involved in the project, and I would like to thank you all, and I wish you all to be safe and to overcome the corona, and I hope that the next meetups will be frontal. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Alex.